Good evening, everybody. It's January 23rd, and the Montreal Canadiens have no energy left. There's a complete collapse by the Montreal Canadiens in Detroit tonight. They looked horrible, top to bottom. No excuses. Time to drop the puck on Montreal Hockey Talk. Hey, everybody. Kosta here. Welcome to another edition of the show. And, we're just going to get right into it. Holy shit, was it horrible. I mean, it was obvious from the minute the puck dropped in the first period that the Red Wings were hungry. They were coming off a bunch of losses, ready to go. And if you know anything about Todd McLellan, you know he's yelling at his players at practice nonstop, trying to get them to get onto the right side of the ledger. He's a tough coach. I've heard stories about him from former NHL pros like Benoit Pouliot, who did not like him very much because of the way he did things. And that's okay. I mean, it happens, right? Not every coach is every player's cup of tea. But McLellan's a tough coach. He's one of those old school guys that wants you to earn your keep, earn your salary. And the Red Wings did that tonight. They absolutely dominated the Canadiens from beginning to end. The Habs showed flashes, sure. They got lucky on a couple of occasions. But by and large, they looked horrible between the pipes. Defensively, they had no answer for the forecheck of the Red Wings, and that was pretty much the tail of the tape. There's not much more to say about it. I mean, if you look at it right from a coaching perspective, anyway. Okay, one of the things that you noticed during the hockey game is that anytime the Canadiens had the puck, especially when it was Lane Hudson, the Detroit Red Wings would send in two guys on the forecheck, pressuring him, forcing him to make mistakes, which he did. And it's expected of a rookie. But the thing is that the Canadiens just didn't have any support there for their players, right? It was one and done. Players trying to clear the zone, that lack of a better freaking term for that flip pass that they always use when they're under pressure. I hate the thing. This time it didn't end up in the back of their net, but I hate when they do it because all they're doing is they're giving the puck back to the other team and say, hey, force it down my throat again. And I absolutely hate that brand of hockey. And it starts with some players on the ice that, they're skating in quicksand. They've got cement in their boots or their skates, and they just can't move. They're heavy legs. They're just done. And, it starts with guys like David Savard. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Savard was absolutely putrid tonight. You see him out there. He's on one leg. He can't move. He's using his stick and leaning into players, trying to get the puck away from them and not really getting his body on those guys. And when he does get close, they just shimmy and get away from him. He doesn't have, right now, the ability to stop them, whether it's fatigue, whether it's the injury that he suffered earlier, because we saw him prior to his return skating around the ice. He looked lethargic. He still looks lethargic. So why he's out there, your guess is as good as mine. You're throwing in guys like Mike Pezzetta. Your team is tired, and Pezzetta has energy, right? All you got to do is pull that guy aside and say, Mike, play smart tonight. I need your energy. He's going to go. He's going to go like crazy if you ask him to. Hit everything that moves. Do what you do as a fourth-line player. Nope. He gets another 5-some-odd minutes in the game, and, he's a non-factor. They're double-shifting guys in the third period once again and literally burning them out. Cole Caulfield has gone completely cold, right? Because teams are keying up on him. It's just everything just didn't go right tonight for the Canadiens. They gave up a shorty. They gave up a power play goal. It's just, nothing. And the goaltending of Sam Montembeault, despite the fact that all of you are going to say, hey, he made 2 big saves in the third period, that's because he gave up a shitty rebound. And thanks to JD LaGrange on Twitter, on BlueSky, who pointed that out. I didn't realize it because he made the saves. I actually thought the second shot that he stopped with I think it was the goalpost that stopped it actually, went into the net, but it didn't. But JD pointed it out that the first save, he kicked the puck right back out into the slot. And it's exactly what he did, forcing himself to make 2 spectacular saves. I mean, and then there's a couple of other goals that just boggle the mind. And I'm just going to get to that now. The Montreal Canadiens did get outshot completely, especially in that first period. It was 17-4. Who gets 4 shots in a period? The Montreal Canadiens do. Why? Gassed. No energy. This stupid schedule, because of the Four Nations Cup and the compressed schedule, it's a bitch. It's a pain in the ass. And just when the Canadiens are starting to play a good brand of hockey and showing that they're capable of moving up in the standings and being competitive and being in the mix, the schedule continues to be an ass to them. One game at home, one game on the road. One game at home, one game on the road. You know how taxing that is on players? So that's what you want, right? You want to burn out players completely. And if you look at any other team in the National Hockey League, there's no other team that's had the schedule the Canadiens have had as far as travel since before Christmas. It's been just nonstop travel. They did get 2 games in a row last week, but at home. But excuse me, it's 2 games in a row. It's not a stretch of 3 or 4 or 5. And so, you know, you get your shit, you get it together, you get on the plane, kiss your wife, get on the plane, go play. Legs are stiff coming off the plane. Practice, play your game, get back on the plane. Legs are stiff coming off. Go to practice the next day. Play another game at home. Go back the next day. Kiss your wife. Get on a plane. Leave for another city. It's not a way to treat professional hockey players. You pay these guys millions of dollars. There's no remedy in the world that's going to make you not cramp up on a plane, even if you're in there for an hour. They're a bucket of farts. You're so clustered up in those things, right? So close together. Even if it's a charter plane from Air Canada, doesn't make a difference. They're still all built the same way. You've got maybe 4 seats where the emergency exits are that have room. Other than that, there's not much. And so the players get cramped, they get stiff, they get up, they stretch, whatever. It doesn't help them at all. Players need rest. And where's the fucking bye week? We haven't gotten one of those yet, have we? Or did I miss it? Anyway, let's talk about Monty. Because Sam Montembeault absolutely didn't do his team any favors tonight. If you go back a few episodes, right, when everybody started freaking out because I keep blaming Monty for a lot of the stuff that goes on with his team, if you watch the game tonight, you could blame him for a hell of a lot of shit that happened. The goal that he allowed by Andrew Kopp, first of all. Actually, let's start with the DeBrincat goal. All right. Lucas Raymond brings the puck. DeBrincat, first of all, starts that play. Let me just preface this. He starts that play off by being to Montembeault's left. As the puck shifts, DeBrincat shifts over to the right side. Somehow, Montembeault never saw him shift from one side to the next. Anyway, the puck gets over to Raymond. Lucas Raymond skates into the slot. Montembeault completely doesn't read that DeBrincat's to his right. Raymond gives the pass to DeBrincat. Montembeault's going this way, the puck's this way, and then it's in an empty net. And he looks all flustered. And he looks stupid because, again, he is not reading plays properly. He's not anticipating what's going on the ice. How do you not recognize that a guy like Alex DeBrincat is sitting on your doorstep? I mean, you should be able to see that guy breathing down your throat. But no. He sees him on one side, but then when he gets to his right, nope, nothing. And that's a problem. He needs to do a better job of play recognition. He needs, and this is preparation too, right? I've mentioned this before. Whether it's Eric Raymond, their goaltending coach, or Marty St. Louis, or the video coaches that pointed out, somebody has to sit there, bring up the Detroit power play, bring up Detroit attacking off the rush, bring up a bunch of different plays for Montembeault to look, assess, and see what they do, right? And if he can do that in a video session, then he should be able then to recognize it on the ice and to anticipate it. But he's not doing that. So instead, he looks stupid, he looks out of position, and he gives up an empty net goal. Literally. There's no 2 ways to argue this. And there's nobody out there who's going to tell me, oh, well, you know, he played well. Yeah, he played well. It's past tense. What you did for me lately doesn't count for anything. What you do for me now, that really matters. And right now, Monty did not play very well tonight. He let his team down. And that showed further on the shorthanded goal that Andrew Kopp scored. Kopp came in on the breakaway. I don't know where Montembeault thought he was, but he gave up the entire left side of the net completely. And Kopp just came in and ripped one right over his pad into the net. Like, it was simple. Montembeault reached for it with his glove. If you watch the replay, he leaned forward to try to catch it in his glove. Why? If the puck is just above the ice, if you're out at the top of your crease, like Cam Talbot was all night long, you're going to make that stop. But instead, he was backing in, shot came in, bang, right into the bottom corner. And that's the difference between those two goaltenders tonight. Cam Talbot is not a world beater. He played well. He allowed 2 goals, but he's not a world beater. Cam Talbot notoriously plays one game well, one game bad, and if you get in between his ears, he tends to give up a lot of them in quick succession. But The Canadiens never even got close to that. Why? Because Cam Talbot was at the top of his crease, making sure that he was making saves when the pucks were coming in from a distance. If you watch Montembeault and you watch Dobish, he's another one that does this too. He's not oblivious to this. They sit mid-crease. They don't come out to the top of it. They don't come beyond the top of it. They stay inside the crease. Why? And I can tell you this because I've done the goalie coaching bit. All right? The reason why they're sitting inside the crease is that so they can keep their bearings while they're in front of the net, so they don't lose their markers. Well, I'm going to tell you, as that goaltending consultant, that there are markers that a goaltender can have beyond the crease that are on the boards, stanchions, ads that they have on the side of the boards, you name it, anything that you can use as a visual aid, you use for your angles, okay, and to justify where you are in the net. And that takes time. You get out onto the ice during warm-up or before warm-up, you stand in front of your crease, and you find your markers. And they're easy to find. They're not hard, right? You find one marker, you check where you are. You look at your feet, you look at your post, you look at the marker. You move over to the next spot. You do the same thing. Every goaltender has to have 7 markers when he's in front of his own net to identify where he is without having to turn his head around and look, right? And what the Canadiens goaltenders do is they're using the crease for that. That's wrong, because then you take away your ability to scope out and be able to make saves on shots that are coming from a distance, right? Which creates rebounds and second chance opportunities for your opponent. So long as Montembeault is going to continue doing that, so long as Dobish is going to do that, because despite the fact that he does absorb more pucks than Montembeault does, he does give out a couple of rebounds here and there that I don't like. I don't want it to become the norm. I'd prefer he continue to play the way he is, but the style of play that they're being taught by their goaltending consultant is not conducive to them being able to properly place themselves in their net. And that's why you get these extra rebounds, and that's horrible for a goaltender, right? Because you're out of position. And then comes the other goal that Monty let in, which was off the stick of Dylan Larkin. Larkin came in from Monty's left, in tight, put one right off his pad, and for some reason, he didn't cover the post. For some reason, he just watched. And then when Larkin just literally flipped the puck up into him, it went right under his glove, into the net, and then he turned around to look, and you see it on Montembeault's face because he thinks he's got the post covered, and he doesn't. And he just looks up at the sky. And then they pan out to the replay. He's got the water bottle in his face, and he's shaking his head. There's the problem. It's an issue. It's a lack of concentration. It's a lack of knowledge of where you are vis-a-vis your net. And if you have that issue, you're not going to be effective as a goaltender. I know he faced 45 shots tonight. I'm not oblivious to that. But that's no excuse to give up 3 goals that a peewee goaltender could have stopped. It's just not. And you could talk to any goaltending coach out there. I don't care who it is. They're going to tell you the 3 goals that Monty let in tonight, 3 out of the 4, were absolute hot garbage. Bananas, as Tony Marinaro would say. So if your goalie's going to give up 1 banana a night, that's okay. It happens. If your goalie's going to give up 3 bananas, you're done. You saw what it did to Vasilevsky the other night when he gave up the goal to Slavkovsky. It cost them the hockey game, literally, because that's what gave the Canadiens momentum to get back into the game. 3 of them, that's going to take away all the momentum. And the Canadiens are going to be sitting there with you-know-what in their hands. Next, specialty teams. I'm sorry, tonight, the power play was absolutely putrid, and shorthand and the penalty kill wasn't much better. Okay, and a lot of the credit does have to go to the Red Wings, but I'm going to say this. We have Patrick Laine on one side of the ice for the one-timer. And the one guy that's disappeared on the power play since Patrick Laine has joined the Canadiens is Cole Caulfield, right? He scores occasionally, but not as often as he did earlier on in the season. Why? Because it's not his spot anymore. The spot belongs to Patrick Laine. And here's my thing, right? Other teams know that you're going to try to feed Laine. The puck goes back and forth between Hudson and Suzuki, or Hudson and Slavkovsky on the opposite side of the ice away from Laine. And then when Hudson gets the puck and looks for Laine, he's immediately covered. So then he has to go back to the same side again. So what happens there? You become predictable. You become a one-trick pony. And earlier on this season, the Canadiens were not a one-trick pony. They were getting contributions from everybody on the power play, whether it was Caulfield, Suzuki, Matheson, Hudson, you name it. They were all contributing. Not anymore. Now the power play has become a one-trick pony. It's Laine or nothing. And that's problematic. The second unit not getting enough time on the ice, so they can't contribute at all. And they're the unit that actually moves more than the first unit does. So maybe it's time for Marty St. Louis to look at the power play and say, you know what? Let me start unit 2 for a bit and see what they could bring to the table. Because there's nothing coming from the first unit right now. The power play is abysmal. Tonight it looked absolutely putrid. And don't get me wrong, I do love Lane Hudson. There's no two ways about how much I love the way this kid plays. Tonight was another one of those nights where he had a lot of difficulty. He took an interference call later on in the hockey game. He was on the ice, and his block shot was the reason why Andrew Kopp got a breakaway shorthanded. He made a couple of mistakes out there defensively, and the Red Wings recognized the fact that he was physically outmatched by their forwards, and they pressured him all night long. Count how many times the puck was on his side of the ice, and he effectively got it out of the zone. Normally, he's got it, he does one shimmy, and he's out. They were ready for it. And that was the case all night long. Yes, I'm still fighting that cold off, so I apologize. But that was it. So, Hudson, not effective. And then at the end of the game, when the Canadiens pulled the goaltender, one of the other things that absolutely kills me when they have the extra man is the puck goes back and forth between Laine and Hudson. Not Laine. Matheson and Hudson at the top of the point. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They never get shots. And all they do is kill time. And the opposition knows it. Again, they take away Laine on one side. They take away the pass along the other half wall to Suzuki. They take away the pass from the bumper. And then it goes back and forth at the point, like windshield wipers. It's horrible. Really, it's horrible. And so, what is there to do with the power play? They got to get back to basics. They got to get back to creating opportunities from other players. The second unit will get the puck down low, send it out to the bumper, get a shot from Brendan Gallagher. Or you'll have Alex Newhook in the slot. Or you'll get Newhook coming into the zone and trying something different. Or you're going to have a Christian Dvorak behind the net distributing. Or you're going to have Matheson shooting from the point. Or if it's Caden Gooley, or whatever the case is. You get different options on that second unit. The first unit, one-trick pony. So take a lesson from that second unit, guys. And remember that when you continuously look for the one guy, and I get it. He scored 10 power play goals since he joined the team. I get it. But he's not Alex Ovechkin. And even with Alex Ovechkin out there, teams know that the puck is going over there, and they tend to overcompensate for it, and they let the rest of the team play. But he eventually does get open. And I'm sorry, but if Laine is going to stay outside the dots, he's never going to be open. Because he's much easier to cover when he's that far outside. He's got to get in a little bit more and be ready to take those shots from there. But it's the penalty kill. I mean, it's getting the pucks out has become cumbersome. You watch them; they're always running it off the boards. You will get good shifts from Evans and Armia, but it can't be just them all the time. The other guys that go out there, the Dvoraks and the Andersons and the Gallaghers and whoever it is that goes out penalty killing, Gary is another one that goes out there. They all have to be able to get the puck out tonight. Tonight, Carrier even struggled. He did not have a good hockey game. It was his worst game as a Hab, as far as I'm concerned. You know, he did try to do things offensively, but defensively, he was a sieve. It wasn't very good for him tonight. So maybe sieve's a little bit too what's the word I'm looking for? It's too harsh. Maybe it wasn't a sieve, but he did have good difficulty all night long. And it showed. You know, pucks were tough to get out of the zone. And don't even get me started about David Savard. David Savard has cement in his skates. Craig Button was on the Sick podcast the other day, and he said, David Savard's not going anywhere. You're right. He can't fucking move. He sits there. He can't. His feet barely move. He barely can cover people. He's always down on one knee. He's pulling Hal Gill's move. You remember when Hal Gill was with the Montreal Canadiens? He would go down on one leg trying to block shots, and he would play on one knee and shimmy around. That's what he's trying to do. And now it's rubbing off on Mike Matheson. Can you fucking stop and stay on your skates? The game was made to be played on your feet, not on your knees. All right? If it were to be played on your knees, they'd put blades on your knees. But I'm sorry. You got to stop flopping like a beached whale and stay on your feet and be effective. You want to block a pass from time to time? Sure. Get down on one knee, block the pass. I don't care. But get back up again for the crying out loud. But nope, that's not happening. The guys are standing there. The passes, 1, 2, they look, they shimmy around, they don't even get up. So the other guy just keeps his distance. He knows you're never going to catch up to him because you don't have any momentum going forward. So he stays just outside the length of your stick, and he looks, taking you effectively right out of the play. Now, the Canadiens, hopefully tomorrow, Marty St. Louis smart enough to take them home tonight. Give them a rest day tomorrow completely. Let some guys take therapy days because you know that Savard and Gooley and Anderson and Laine, they're hurting, right? And Laine, it's more, not, I wouldn't say it's hurting. It's more he's still out of shape because he really didn't get a full preseason, right? So he's a little bit behind as far as the speed of the game is concerned, and he needs to play catch-up. So give him the therapy day. I don't care, right? But give the rest of the guys a break as well, right? They need the break. They're not getting any from the league. So don't have practice tomorrow. If anything, have a video session, right? Those are always effective. I mean, there is so much to be said about video sessions. And I don't know if teams have enough of them. You know, you look at, I think it was Alex Tanguay, the assistant coach of the Red Wings, that said tonight in an interview that since Todd McLellan took over the Red Wings, they really haven't had enough time to really put their system in place or any type of system in place. So what they're doing is they're playing with what they have, but they're sitting down and having different sessions with their players to try to identify things that they think they can improve. But you're not doing that in practice by running drills. You're doing that by sitting down and doing video sessions. So it's something that Montreal should do, especially given the fact that the team's fatigued. Take your power play units out. Have them watch the power play from yesterday and from Tuesday, and say to yourself, well, what was the problem? Why do you think the power play isn't working? And take a look. They'll identify it. They're not stupid. And then the guys can sit there as a unit and try to hash out a way to be able to get effective. Bring something forward to Marty St. Louis. Marty's done a great job getting this power play to, 15th or 16th in the league or wherever it sits right now. It might be a little bit less after tonight's performance. But video sessions are the gold standard as far as successful teams in the league are concerned. They should have one tomorrow, definitely. Especially given the fact that the New Jersey Devils are going to be in town on Saturday. The Devils are coming off a 5-1 win tonight against the Boston Bruins, doing the Canadiens a little bit of a favor anyway. Jake Allen is now in goal for the Devils because Jakob Markstrom is out with an injury. And let me just preface the game against the Devils by saying I understand that everybody is thinking if Jake Allen gets his 40 games in this year, we're going to get that second-round pick. I don't think he's getting the 40 games. I don't think Markstrom is going to be out for more than maybe 20. Okay? And Jake Allen has only played 16 games with tonight's game. So don't sit there and think to yourself he's going to play the next 20 to 25 games straight and get to that 40 level, because he's not. Okay? It's a pipe dream. There's less than 40 games left on the New Jersey schedule. He's not going to play half those games. He is the backup goaltender to Jakob Markstrom. So the minute Markstrom comes back, you know that Allen's going to be pinned to the bench again. So whatever it is you're thinking, stop. We're not getting that second-round pick. It's going to be a third. Move on from there. I'm sure that Kent Hughes is still going to do well with that third-round pick. That being said, we all know, based on his play here in Montreal, that Jake Allen isn't a number one goaltender, but we also know that he has the ability to play extremely strong hockey when required. Now, tonight, he got a little bit of a break. The Bruins had maybe 23 shots on goal, I think the total was. So it wasn't as heavy a hockey game as you would expect the Bruins to bring. The Devils playing very well defensively. Sheldon Keefe has them in a relatively good place as far as their development is concerned. They did lose a couple of games recently, but the Devils are a very good hockey team, extremely well coached, and they're going to bring their best game forward. And especially when you've got a young kid like Jack Hughes. Hughes lit it up last time against Montreal. You don't want him to do it again. So, pay attention to him. Give him a shadow. Whether it's Armia, whether it's Allen, Evans, whatever the case is. Just put somebody on him. The reason why the Canadiens won the Cup in '93 is because Guy Carbonneau turned around and told Jacques Demers, I want Gretzky. Well, Jake Evans should go say, I want Jack Hughes. See how that turns out. Piss the guy off, get him off his game. He can't score. Oh, well, you know what? Canadiens have a better chance to win. But they've got to come back with a better effort. I expect Jakub Dobeš to play on Saturday. I would hope so. I actually wanted him to play tonight. I thought tonight was the right game for him. And give the Devils to Montembeault, giving him a break between games. But no. They played him back-to-back, and I don't understand why. Anyway, what's done is done. Hindsight is 2020, and Saturday should be Dobeš's game. Let him play in front of the Bell Center crowd. Let him get more confidence in front of the home crowd. He's 5-0. He deserves to play another game. See what comes of it. The Devils are a good team to put him up against. They don't get a lot of shots on goal, right? They try to pick their spots. Jack Hughes is a good player. They've got some talent up front, and Hischier and whatever, so let them come to you. And let's see what happens with Dobeš in goal. But the Canadiens do need to find some kind of energy. Drink a Red Bull. I don't know what it is, but they need to get energy. They look tired tonight. They look lethargic. From 1 to 16 to 18 in that lineup, every forward, every defenseman just looked completely off. That's got to be different on Saturday. They got to get back to what works for them. They got to get back to playing as a team and not individuals. And they got to make sure, most importantly, the most important thing, they cannot take their time moving the puck. Tonight's game exposed a weakness in the Canadiens that if they don't move the puck up the ice within the first 2 seconds of possession, if you pressure them, they panic. So that the Devils and Sheldon Keefe are going to be ready for him from that perspective. So make sure you move the puck up quickly, transition to offense quickly, give the guys a chance to come in off the attack. You saw tonight we did get chances off the rush. Cole Caulfield coming in on a partial break, getting a shot on goal. He needs to score. He needs to get some energy in there. Slafkovsky's got to play a smarter game. I didn't think his game tonight was extremely smart. He's got to play a smarter game. And the second line, other than Doc, somebody has to contribute. Okay? I know that Newhook got a goal in the last game. I think they gave him one tonight, right? No, they didn't. They left it as Gooley. I actually thought he tipped it. But anyway, they gave it to Caden Gooley. But nonetheless, Alex Newhook has been contributing of late, which is good. But they need to continue doing that. They can't go one night on, one night off. They got to keep producing points. And the Jake Evans line has to continue being the Jake Evans line. They have to get some kind of offense from the fourth line to throw the balance off with the other team. And the Devils are that kind of team. They will lose the balance if the fourth or even the third line contribute. So it's a home game. The Canadiens have last change. Let's go. Let's get in there. Let's get a win for Dobeš, and let's just keep going. Get a few more points. Bring the confidence back. Get some rest. Go Habs, go.